Hi, everyone. I'm the Sports Pathways and Performance Manager. I'm just going to give you information about our athlete support program. It's probably one of the most recognized and renowned performance programs in the third level sector. So at any given time, we're supporting anything up to 300 student athletes across more than 30 different sports. And that slide there just gives you a selection of the sports and the caliber of athlete that we have in TU Dublin as well. We would have had 5 athletes competing in Paris 2024 in the Olympics this year. We've top senior county GA players across all the 4 codes, League of Ireland, and AIL players as well, soccer and rugby. So moving on, Linda, I'm just going to play a short video. It just gives you just a bit of a flavour of the sport and how we support our students.
Johnson and Ireland double their lead.
The best thing about the athlete support program, I think, is the year that I wanted to go and try and qualify for the Olympic Games. They let me take that time and put 100% focus into qualifying for the Games.
Being part of the athlete support program is a massive bonus to me.
Fee wavering, sports psychologists, nutritionists, strength and conditioning, and a brand new state-of-the-art gym facilities in Grangegorman's campus.
There is no other program I would put my trust in than TU Dublin's athlete support program.
I wouldn't probably be here right now if I was trying to manage both.
The athlete support program to me mainly has given me the ability to give both my academic and also rugby career the due consideration and attention that they both deserve.
And they are just some of our athletes that were representing Team Ireland at the Olympic Games in Paris 2024. Some of them were currently still being supported through the athlete support program. And we had some graduates that had come through the athlete support program. Okay, so what is the program? As I said, we support around 300 student athletes in any given year. And we offer tiered support. So depending on the level that you're performing at and your potential to develop as an athlete will reflected in terms of how you're supported in the 3 tiers that we have. Financial investment every annual year is 345,000, but if you include all the in-kind benefits as well, including fee waiver support, there's an annual investment of more than 500,000. So as I said already, athletes representing more than 30 sports. By look as well, so geographically, we're probably one of the nearest third level institutions beside the National Sports Campus. Blanchardstown being the nearest, but Grangegorman campus as well is only a hop, skip and a jump up to it. So it's really convenient. So if you're competing at a high level and your training environment is in the National Sports Campus, it's very easy for you to commute from a TU Dublin campus location to your training environment. We also have a lot of high performance training facilities, and these would be across our different college campuses. So probably the most recent build is the Sports and Health Centre that is now on our Tala campus that was opened in September 2023. Okay, so we have an award too. So we link in with Sport Ireland Institute, and they have a accreditation for student athlete support. It's a program. So we have been awarded re-accreditation for that from the period 2024 to 2026. So that's just recognition of the dual career support structures and programs that we have in place. So our supports enable all of our athletes to combine their education with their sporting career very successfully. Eligibility criteria. So if you're considering applying, you must apply via the CEO first. So there's no point in applying for a sports scholarship unless you've applied for a place of study via the CEO process. So at the moment, our application process is open. You must be also competing in a sport that's recognised by Sport Ireland. Okay, so that's one of the criteria that's in place. In terms of playing standards, rankings, you must be of a regional, county, national, or international standard in your chosen sport. And then you must also commit to represent TU Dublin in the appropriate competitive pathway. But in saying that, TU Dublin compete only in student competitive pathways. So you can still represent your own club in the domestic regional competitions. So everybody who applies, we assess each application, and you're assessed on an individual basis, and your support will be ranked depending on, obviously, we look at your sporting achievements to date in your sport, your current rankings, playing standards. We assess your potential to develop as an athlete or player, because a lot of students, the age profile that you're at, a lot of you are only transitioning from a junior to a senior athlete. And we also consider your ability to represent and promote the university in whatever appropriate competitive pathway as well. So this is how we assess applications. We shortlist them, and we would invite you in for interview. And each then we would tailor a package of support to suit your own individual requirements. So as you can see, the benefits of an award, we have a pre-entry mechanism. So if you're within a 10% window of the points requirement for the course that you want to study at TU Dublin, you will be offered a place on that program. So within that 10% window. So if you are hoping to pursue a program that maybe has a points requirement of 350 points, if you're within 315 and above, you will be offered a place on that program. And you can be offered up to a maximum of 45 points of a window. After that, everything else kicks in post-entry. So if you're offered a place of study and you choose a place of study at TU Dublin, again, I spoke about that tiered system. So your benefits could include accommodation support. We don't have accommodation on campus, but we do rent rooms in student accommodation providers right in very close proximity to Grangegorman campus. We have fee waivers. So we have up to 40 fee waivers for undergraduate students and postgraduate students. Financial awards range from €700 right up to 3,500. And then we have a wide range of performance support services that we offer too. So we have a nutritionist, we have strength and conditioning coaches, we have physiotherapy, we have mental performance coaching as well. And you also have access to all of our high performance training facilities free of charge too. Most importantly is that dual career support as well. So if you are a student athlete on the athlete support program, you will be appointed an academic mentor. So this academic mentor will champion your interests in your academic environment. So this will allow you and support you to combine your sporting career with your education. So you'll be able to balance all of your studies with the requirements of top level sport. Okay, so why do we do it? Every year, we hope to recruit in top performing athletes across a range of sports. We want to support the next generation of Irish athletes. We want to nurture talent. At the same time, we want to strengthen our own competitive sports teams as well. And we always want to develop new national competitive pathways as well. Listen, we hope to obviously increase the number of students that are going to transition from a junior to a senior athlete as well. And with that, obviously try and increase the number of students that are going to be competing on a national, world and European level. We have 4 students on the call tonight, and 2 of those students are going to be competing in the World University Games this year. So overall, with the Athlete Support Programme, Nurturing Talent, we just want to make a positive impact on the future of Irish sport. We don't want it have to be an either or choice, that you have to sacrifice your education over your sports career or your sports career over your education. The supports of this program will enable you to do both and excel and reach your full potential in your, not only your academic journey, but also your sporting career. So these are just some of the competitive pathways. So we have our GA codes competing at the highest levels in Sigerson Cup, in Ryan Cup, actually, in the hurling, also in the Ashburn O'Connor Cup. We have a lot of our TU Dublin teams competing at the top level within their different sports codes. We have students we send to European university sports games and championships. And as I said already, there's opportunities to represent Team Ireland at World University Games and Championships too. And some of our students who are on the call will chat about that later as well. And as I alluded to already, we have world-class sports facilities right across the different campuses. So we have indoor and outdoor facilities at Blanchetown, Tala and Grangegorman campus. Okay, and then just the important dates. So the application process is open at the moment. It will remain open until the 1st of June. It opened on the 1st of February, so we leave it open for about 4 months. The process is now, we're going to be constantly assessing the applications as they come in. You'll be invited, if you're shortlisted, for interview always before the change of mind date on July 1st. So we want to be able to interview and be in a position to provide an offer. So then student athletes can make an informed decision on where to place TU Dublin on your CEO preference list. If you know how you're going to be supported when you come in, well, then you can choose where to place TU Dublin on your CEO preference list. So I think that's everything. Hopefully I've given out all the important information. Hopefully we'll have plenty of you applying for a sports scholarship. Still plenty of time left. There's still more than 4 or 5 weeks. So at any stage, we'll give out the details. If you need any more information, I'm available to contact by email or by mobile as well. So they can be given out, or you can be directed to the appropriate webpage. Okay. Thanks,
you,
Linda.
That was great, and great to hear about some of the, the supports that the students are given, because really, there's no doubt that it is really hard work to be a student athlete and also in college at the same time as well. But obviously the students are getting lots and lots of assistance. So we're going to have a chat to some of these students now, and I'm going to invite them on. I'm going to invite our students to turn their cameras on there, and we'll have a little bit of a chat to our students. So Leroy, Aisling, or Ailish, should I say? Apologies, Saoirse, and Rogan. So if you guys would like to turn on your cameras. So guys, first of all, thanks very much for doing this, because I know that you guys are really, really busy. So and I've just heard from Neve there, the two of you are going away to the University Games next week. So amazing. I'm sure you have a packed schedule. So yes, I'm just going to maybe ask you a couple of questions about your experience, and yeah, if you just maybe give some advice to the students who are listening in here this evening. So maybe I'll start with you, Ailish. So Ailish, tell us a little bit about who you are and what your sport is.
So my background in sport basically started with football in Camogie growing up. I would have played for Clare all the way up along 14, 16 minor, senior, and had relatively successful up and down season with Clare throughout my years. And then I would have headed over to New York and played a summer over there of Gaelic football. And then I got picked up and signed for Adelaide Crows in the AFLW. And I spent 6 seasons playing AFLW. I played 5 with Adelaide, won 2 premierships, played in 3, and then went over to North Melbourne for my final season. And then I retired and ended up back playing Clare football again. So I've been back playing Clare football now for the last year and a half. So that's been kind of my sporting journey at the moment so far.
Yeah. And what program are you studying, Ailish?
So I'm studying a master's in digital and content marketing.
Right, okay.
So it's trying to tie that in with sport has been interesting, but it's definitely a possibility, which is good.
Which is good, right? Okay. Well, I just want to ask you a question here, and I suppose a lot of the students who are on are probably thinking about it. What does it mean to you being part of this program?
It just provides so much help and support, which is so needed when you're trying to balance, playing sport at an elite level. It consumes you. It takes up all of your time.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not training, you're recovering or you're preparing for the next one. You're always looking after your body. So to have the supports here at TU Dublin has been, it's been so helpful, and it for somewhat older players as well. It keeps us on the field because we have so much support in terms of nutrition, S&C. And physiotherapy as well. Like those little things always help. And there's always someone to talk to or communicate to if things are becoming a little bit difficult. And lecturers are very understanding when it comes to pressures from having different assignments due and then having your sporting commitments and training, because it becomes a very, very busy time, especially January to March can be extremely busy because you've got county stuff on, you've got your college championship in the middle of it, so you're kind of playing 2 or 3 games in the week, so It becomes really, really difficult with time and travel and coming and going and trying to get your assignments done. And having the support from the program has allowed a bit more flexibility and just gives you that bit of breathing space when you need it most.
Yeah, so you found the academic mentoring has worked quite well for you, Aisling, or sorry, apologies, I keep calling you Aisling, Ailish. So it's worked quite well for you. Yeah, I know some students seem to be able to get through perhaps on programs where maybe they're not in as many contact hours and they can manage it. And then other students have told me that certainly they need to really have assistance from their academics in terms of, and I suppose it really depends on the sport that you're using as well. You also mentioned that you've been using the physiotherapy and the nutrition and stuff like that. What advice would you give to the students on, like, just about availing of the supports?
Yeah, like try everything once at least. Like if it's something that you think you have down to a T, like I've been in a professional environment for 6 years, but I still chose to use the nutritionist and to use S&C and the physiotherapy, because you're always going to learn and grow, and the minute you stop learning, even in your sport, is the time you're going to stop improving. So I think try everything. If the supports are there, use them. If they're not for you, they're not for you, but you might pick up something along the way that might end up being really beneficial for your career going ahead, and especially younger players coming through. The more you can learn at a young age, the more longevity you can have in your career, and you can do it better from a younger age, and you look after your body, and essentially your body is what kind of keeps you going and makes you the money if you end up in professional sport. So
Exactly.
you've got to look after it. So use every support that you have, because it's great to have it, and it kind of sets you up for a professional setup as you go through your sporting career.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, like, and it is true that particularly you've been in a professional environment for a very long time and you would know a lot, but you still put yourself out there to learn something else and see if there was anything else that you could pick up or that could be helpful. So I think that's really useful advice. A lot of the students who probably have on are probably juniors hoping to move to seniors. So it's great to hear that from somebody who's obviously been so successful in their career. So what would your advice, your one piece of advice be maybe to some of the applicants that we have on here today?
I suppose keep working hard. I think that's probably something that has followed me throughout my career. I wasn't always the most successful underage. I didn't always make the teams when I was underage, but I think consistently working hard, that's one thing you can always control. You can't control how you perform sometimes, but you can always control how hard you work. So I think whatever that's in, if that's in sport, if that's in life, if that's in academics, if you work hard, you'll get the rewards.
You get the reward. I think that's excellent advice for everyone. Really, I think sports, one of the things that it sets you up for, even in later life, is it provides you with excellent resilience. And the employers really love sports people because they know that they have that resilience and that they've had to, do all that work and commit to something. So it says a lot about somebody. So listen, thanks a million, Ailish. It was great to talk to you. I'm going to move on to Rogan now. So Rogan, can you tell me a little bit about your sport, what it is, and how you got started?
Yeah, so I'm doing archery, which I know is a bit of a weird one. So I was coming home from school one day, and the leisure centre where I'm from, and there was a target out in the field, and my mum asked if I wanted to do it, so we signed up to the next beginners course, and I was away. So archery is a bit of a niche sport, and I particularly found that I really cared that TD had actually recognised archery as a sport, or as an elite sport rather, because a lot of the other colleges might not. Do you know what I mean? So I do understand that archery isn't the hugest sport that they have. Do you know what I mean?
Which is still a huge skill to it, Rogan, because I've tried it and I'm absolutely rubbish. So it's probably not the biggest sport. It's a niche sport, but yeah, there's definitely great skill to it. So how many years have you been doing it now?
I've probably been doing it about 8 years now.
Okay. So, and how often do you train?
Probably now I'd probably train about 3 times a week, and I'd probably be in the gym ish like 3 to 4 times a week as well. Kind of during the summer, then when college is over, you can kind of ramp it up to about like 5 times a week. So especially obviously during the summer, it's a lot easier to get outside.
Okay, so you're doing a lot of it outside. Yeah. Of course you are. So what made you chose TU Dublin really because you felt they recognised it? What course are you studying here, Rogan?
I'm doing mechanical engineering here.
Okay, mechanical engineering. Okay, so you've a lot of contact hours probably as well within that course. How are you finding that?
It is really busy, but as Ailish said, like it is, all the lecturers understand. If you're playing sport at a high level, they'll give you that extension for that assignment, or they'll run something through you. Do you know what I mean? One more time if needs be. So it is a lot of work, but you can tell that they do actually care about it. Like,
they care about it. And have you availed of any of the other supports, Rogan?
I have. So you've obviously all your free gyms across all of the campuses. Something I found particularly interesting is the sports psychology. So archery is kind of a sport where you can kind of get to a stage where it's physically it's not as demanding anymore. So then it kind of becomes a mind game. And sports psychology hadn't ever been something that I had even considered until I joined TUD. Do you know what I mean? It's been fantastic.
Okay. And that's just about believing in yourself, or what do you think that has done for you, Rogan, to kind of push you on?
Yeah, like it even helps with exams. Do you know what I mean? Like it's to stay calm in high pressure moments, and that is not just in sport, obviously. You know what I mean? You're sitting exams, you're sitting your leaving cert. You know what I mean? Like it's still a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds very interesting. How do you find balancing it overall? Are you finding it difficult, or are you
I'd
getting
say,
the swing of it now? What year are
yeah,
you in, Rogan?
I'm in second year.
You're in second year. Okay. So did you find it tough to begin with?
To begin with, yeah, it was tough enough. But like kind of, like anything, when you get in a routine, do you know what I mean? It takes those like initial maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks, and then once you're in a routine, then it's grand.
Yeah. I think that's good advice to kind of give to the students coming in, because I think a lot of people when they come into university at first, they've so many new things to get used to, and they're so committed to their sport anyway that those first few weeks can kind of feel really, have I taken on too much? And I suppose maybe would you say getting in to talk to your academic mentors and meeting other sports people kind of early on might help, just with, calming you down and kind of helping you to say you'll get used to this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I mean, like anybody who I talk to was like, just give it a bit of time. Like, it's at the start, it's always a bit overwhelming, and then, as I said, once you get in, you get used to it. Do you know what I mean? And then everything falls into place. Like,
So, Rogan, what are you up to next now in terms of your career in archery? Have you
in
any
archery,
games
uh,
on or
yeah, so
competitions?
we're heading away to the World University Games
Okay,
this
so
coming summer.
you're part of that.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah,
Okay, so that's on in Germany. Is that
it
what
is.
Neve had said? And
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about that.
yeah. So it's basically it's like a load of different sports coming together, and it's all done kind of almost in the one area. I think there's a few different locations across Germany, but
Okay,
archery is in Essen, so it should be a good bit of crack.
that sounds
So,
amazing. Sounds amazing. You must be really looking forward to it.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, listen, well done. And if you'd one piece of advice to give maybe to any of our students that are on here today about starting college life as an elite athlete, what would it be?
Um, I would say to try find your routine as quick as possible, and probably actually physically write it down,
Hmm.
because it's easy to forget, especially when you come like late into the semester and maybe you haven't done that lab report that you're supposed to do about 2 weeks ago. Do you know what I mean? If you can visually see what it is that you should be doing day by day, then you will get all your academic stuff done as well as your training or your gym work and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So if it's right there in front of you, can't miss it, and
You
you'll
can't
you'll
miss it.
you
So
well.
be organized is your biggest tip to people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
biggest one.
I know, and I think it's just one of those things. If you're going to be an elite athlete, you just have to be organized. So yeah, that's a great tip. So listen, best of luck at the University Games in Germany, Rogan. We'll definitely be looking out for that on social media over the next couple of weeks. So thanks very much. So we're going to move now to Leroy. Leroy, how are you, Leroy?
All good in yourself?
I'm good, thanks. So, Leroy, can you tell us a little bit about your sport and when you started, and maybe about just about your career as an athlete?
So my sporting background is taekwondo. I've basically done that all my life. First of all, apologies. I've lost my voice over the weekend, so I do
Oh,
sound a bit robotic, but I'm not sick. I'm just losing my voice. But
okay.
I started taekwondo. I'm actually one of the original members of my taekwondo club. It opened in 2008, and I joined in August of 2008. And
Okay.
within the following years, I've just been competing in national championships and not really going around in the international circuit up until I got a call up in 2017, where I did win the under 59 kilogram national championships in a very competitive matches.
Environment,
So
right.
I got the head up to go to Latvia for my first event. Then from then on, it was just a series of events after events. My junior career, unfortunately, wasn't as it should have been for my sport, and I was
Okay.
having some doubts. And once I came into TUD and I started to use the athlete support program, that's when I actually picked up my first senior win. and it was against a European champion, which was even better for me. Then after on, it was just all going up there. I was ranked 142 in my first year as a senior, and then I went in against ranked number 4, and I actually picked up a very, very nail-biting win that secured my spot in that year's.
Well done.
So after that, it was just a series of ups, going up and down, winning matches, losing matches, winning medals, losing medals, and eventually I got my call up to go to the 2023 European Olympic Games. It's not the Olympic Games. It's like it's like a European only
version
kind of event. And to get there, you actually have to be auto qualified to become part of the team. So for my qualification, I had to be top 13 in Europe, and I managed to squeeze in number 9, which is brilliant for me. And it was a very big event. And along that as well, I also received my call up to go to the European Olympic qualifications in, where was it, Bulgaria last year. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to the Olympic Games, but I did go out and win my first match, and I did lose my second match to a very high elite athlete who has been competed in the Olympics before. So I will happily take that as my last. But all in all, ever since I kind of started the sport, it's just been a series of ups and downs. And just like Rogan, I've also been called up to compete in this year's European University Games.
Excellent. And you mentioned there that you didn't really get a big win until you started the elite sports program at TU Dublin. Why do you think that was, Leroy?
Honestly, it was just the way the sport is. Like, it's just the luck of the draw. It depends on the training. But then, fortunately, COVID was a thing when I did get my first win. But because of the support, I actually had managed to fix my schedule around my training and college stuff as well, which just opened the door for me to do more training, extra hours in the gym, extra hours in my training facility that I was using, which was my back garden at the time. But after that, it just kind of gave me more room to work with, which helped me get my first win.
Okay, excellent. And can you give us a kind of an indication on some of the supports that you've used within the scholarship itself? Have you availed of, say, the sports psychology or, you know, any of the facilities or anything like that yourself, Leroy?
So since using the program this year, I've only been mainly using the strength conditioning kind of side, because I do know my own nutrition and all that. But main thing is just getting that fitness up, getting my levels up, especially since I'm a small person in a heavyweight category. My people will be taller than me, so I have to be faster. So working with the strength conditioning coach that I have here, I've been able to start getting back my wins, start coming back, especially since I picked up an injury at the start of the year. And after that, it's just been like I haven't lost my touch. It's just touch and go here and there. But all in all, I feel stronger and better now ever since that program.
And what are you studying, Leroy?
I'm currently studying sports studies. I'm in my first year.
In your first year in sports studies on the Tala campus, is that correct?
Yes.
Very good. And how are you finding balancing your academics now with you know, your sport?
Well, it's similar. Take out Logan's advice. Write down your schedule as soon as possible, just because it's a bit crazy. Stuff can change. You know, classes could get cancelled. You might not be able to make it to training here and there. In the first month, I just remember myself running dry because I had to be in college, and from college, I had to get to training, but I wasn't really good at tracking time. Then, when I started nailing down my schedule where I had to be at a certain location at a certain time, it made everything easier, made me get my assignments done easier. So, take Roger's advice and make sure you get your schedule done as soon as possible, because
get the schedule down. First week, I know it is important. And I think, you know, I'd be definitely saying to students, particularly elite athletes who are thinking of studying at TU Dublin, I mentioned that we have 5 locations. You know, if we have a program, a lot of our programs are duplicated. You know, choose a location that's easy for you to get to, that you're not going to be spending a whole load of time traveling, because realistically what you want to do is you want to spend that time traveling to training or doing assignments when, you know, you don't want to be sitting on a bus or whatever. So that's certainly something to be thinking about for those of you that are on the call with us, just in terms of you know, what location that you want to choose. So what would your last piece of advice be now to any of the students that we have on the call here, Leroy?
I know it's cliche and I know everybody's probably seen it online, but my main advice is always don't give up and just keep going, because I went from an athlete that never won an international event to an athlete that has now the second highest amount of medals in my chosen sport. I've represented Team Olympic Ireland. I've gone to the Olympic Games as a manager for Team Olympic Ireland, and I've been top ranked in the world. And I would tell you this now: if I gave it up one of those days, I would have never achieved what I have now. So it may seem tough now, but just keep pushing on and you'll get there eventually if you just keep working hard. Trust me.
I think that's amazing. And that goes back to Ailish's point, it's hard work. If you just keep hard, you control what you can control by working as hard as you possibly can. And I mean, again, as I said earlier on, like that will stand to you hugely in your career later on in life. When you're retired as an athlete, and maybe you'll stay in your sport in some regard, or maybe you'll work in some other area. But yeah, definitely something very attractive to employers out there, and also excellent life skills, I have to be honest with you. So thanks a million, Leroy. We're going to move on to Saoirse, last but certainly not least. So Saoirse, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your sport is and how you got into that?
Yeah, so my name is Saoirse McCarthy. I am from a little village in West Cork called Ballinspittle. I play camogie is my main sport. Probably tried everything growing up, but stuck with the camogie. Yeah, I play Corsie Rovers is my own club, and I'm privileged to be part of the Cork senior camogie team for the last, I think this is my 7th year on the panel now. Been really, really successful with them, have 3 All-Ireland medals, and I've got 3 All-Stars in the last 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been really, really good recently. I was up for Player of the Year the last 2 years in a row. So it's been really good, and was offered to come and play for the TU Dublin, sorry.
That's okay.
This year, and I just jumped at the chance. I think the competitor in me always wanted to win an Ashford medal, and I know Eilish would hold it over me. She has one.
Oh, right, okay.
It was kind of the last thing I had left to win, and just wanted to jump at the opportunity, and it's just been brilliant. I think I came for the camogie, but I'm going out a much better person, and so glad I decided to come up here for the Masters.
Great. And what Masters are you studying, Saoirse?
Oh, I'm doing the digital and content marketing as well, the same as Eilish.
As well, same as Eilish, yeah, very good, very good. So I know the degrees are busy, but my God, the Masters are super busy because there's a lot of work in a Masters, I would say. So how are you finding that, Saoirse?
Good. Do you know what? I think the first day was a bit daunting going in there. You have a bit of imposter syndrome. Am I just here because I'm on scholarship? And you're kind of looking around saying, are these people going to be smarter than me or better than me? And I think after about an hour, I realized that we're all in the same boat and we're all in it together. And I think there was a really good cohort of us in our class that pushed each other through it. And we're all actually very sporty. We're a very sporty class. And like Eilish said, trying to relate the content in the Masters back to your sport and back to something that you can relate to. And I feel like all the lecturers actually enjoy that and support us in what we wanted to do. So I think it went really well, and we're on placement now at the moment, so out in the working world.
Right, okay. And how are you finding that now, doing placement with handling your sporting career as well?
Yeah, well, for me, to be honest, placement is probably easier than when I was in college, just because I picked my placement back in Cork, in the second semester we were back training with Cork 3 times a week, and commuting from Dublin. I know you're saying pick your campus, but I picked my campus 2.5 hours away from Cork, so the driving was hectic enough. And I think it was just, again, like Rogan said about planning your days and planning your weeks, and I suppose I just constantly had to think of what was I doing week on week, and just like remembering to bring certain things between Cork and Dublin and all that. But yeah, do you know what?
So you're probably quite used to it, having been through a degree already. Now that you're kind of going on to the Masters element, you're probably quite used to the kind of being organised and that kind of bit, but now you just have the driving and the extra work as part of the masters. So you love a challenge, Saoirse. You ladies love a challenge doing masters and sports. Yeah, so you're definitely busy. Is there any of the different assistances that come, or the supports within the program that you're availing of, Saoirse?
100%. Like, I wouldn't be as good as Eilish now to go and get massages and stuff like that. I feel like she was way more organized than me to go and do those things.
She motivates you now.
I see her come back and I'm like, oh, that would have been a good idea, and it would
Yeah.
go over my head. But I think that mentorship factor that supports you, that if I have to leave at 4 o'clock because I have to get to Cork for training, there was never any hassle. Or like Rogan said, if you were struggling to get an assignment in on time, I think that side of things really, really helps sports people, because we do spend a lot more hours in the week doing the sport and giving time to that. So it's good to for that to be recognized, and just a little bit of leniency goes a long, long way. And I don't even think I ever submitted anything late, just because I had so much respect for lecturers and stuff like that. But knowing it was there, and it was really, really good. Yeah.
And I think that's important as well for the athletes to understand. Like, not everybody's going to need to use everything on the program, but the fact that it's there and they can avail of it if they need it, and they can avail of a bit of time with their academic mentor if they need to change something or whatever. The fact that they have that and they know that it's available to them is really amazing. What advice would you give, Saoirse, now to some of our students here today about, coming into college perhaps for the first time and starting for the first time?
I think maybe talk to people around you, talk to people older than you who've done it before. Like in football and team sports are really good that way, that you get friends who are in years older than you, and they'll kind of show you the ropes. But I think the biggest thing for me would be control the controllables. Like, I'm not worrying about things that I can't control. If I am struggling with something, I'll talk. I'll say it to Niall now in the marketing department. I'd email him and say, look, I'm not going to be at this lecture. I have training, and then that's me controlling it. I'm communicating it, and that's really, really important as well, is just keep the lines of communication open. And because I think it is a very human thing that when you do get flustered, you kind of go quiet, but it's really important to voice what's going on. And
that helps. No, I think that's great. And I think that the lecturers, I know definitely the academic staff and the university really support the elite students. Myself and Niamh were actually just having a discussion at the start here about the president of TU Dublin, who's really sporty and comes to the matches, and she's a huge interest in as well. So I mean, it's huge within the university. So I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank all of the other athletes for coming on here this evening and having a chat with us about what they're doing. I think there's some, amazing opportunities. The girls, you sound very accomplished, and the guys, you're still working away now. And the best of luck in Germany next week to both of you. I hope you get everything you're dreaming of. So the very best of luck to you. Just to remind everybody on the call, the Change of Mind is opening now in the next couple of days. So if you're thinking about studying at TU Dublin, if you want to apply for a programme here at TU Dublin, you can start to change your CAO form at this stage. But as Niamh said, by all means, get your application in for the scholarship as well. They can get to them earlier, they can assess them, they'll invite you in for interview, etc. And they let you know just in advance of the Change of Mind closing whether you have a place on there or not. So the earlier you apply, the better. Would that be the advice you'd give, Niamh?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're always conscious that there's a lot going on for potential students, in terms of the leaving cert and everything else. So we're never going to invite you in for interview when you're in exam mode.
Exactly.
So it's a revolving door at the moment in terms of scheduling interviews. And we'll always make that offer before the 1st of July. So then you can make an informed decision. You're fully sure if you put TU Dublin down high on your CEO preference list, that you know the level of support that you're going to get if you choose to study at TU Dublin. So as you can hear from all the lads tonight on the call, that the benefits, the array of benefits is huge. It really depends on you as an athlete, what you check into. You know, some of the student athletes, they're competing in sports that are well resourced, and they may have access to performance support services already, where other athletes are competing in sports that are not resourced, and they haven't had the opportunity to have, you know, avail of strength and conditioning coaching or nutrition support or physio support or whatever. And really the academic mentoring support is dependent on the academic discipline that you're studying too. Sometimes your competitive season may completely clash with the academic timetable, and you're going to need a high level of support. Whereas other students are competing in sports where maybe their season doesn't start until April and may finish in October, so they won't need as much academic mentoring support. So it really is dependent on the sport you're competing in, and the academic discipline that you're studying will really depend on what resources you will require. But it's just comforting to know that they are there for you should you need to access them.
Yeah, by all means, I think so. And I think that, you know, a lot of students who were on the call will be delighted to see that there's so many different supports available to them, and there's a diverse range, and they can, you know, choose whatever they need. Plus, as well as that, if you were studying here in TU Dublin, you can use any of the facilities on any of the locations. So if one's near training, you can go there, or if one's near home, you can go there maybe to do a bit of extra gym work or whatever. So there's lots of flexibility like that. So guys, listen, we've come to the end of our webinar for this evening. Are there any questions there, David, in our chat, or does anybody want to ask us any questions? We'll just open the chat there very quickly. Just to let you know that if you have any questions after this, or if you want to ask any more information of Niamh or any of the students, Niamh, where can they get you? What's your contact details? Is it sport@tudublin.ie, or?
It's performancesport@tudublin.ie. Yeah,
Okay.
so if they want to email that, or the website address as well, where there's all the information about the athlete support program too.
Okay, so we'll just put the details in there, the link and also the email address. David's just put it in there. If anybody wants to ask any questions, please email. Obviously, the scholarship is up and open at the moment. It's closing on the 1st of June. So just to reiterate, to get your application in. To those of you doing the Leaving Cert, I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope to see some of you here as elite athletes with the rest of these amazing students in September. So thank you very much. Thanks, guys.